Hello, students of Global Studies 250. So I am your instructor for this course, and this is just a brief introductory video. And I just wanted to kind of go over what we're going to be learning, what we're going to be exploring in this class, introduce myself in a virtual format, and if you're watching my YouTube channel and following me, this is great. You won't need to take in all this information that I'm about to give, but if you're my in-person students at the university, then take heed to all I'm about to say. So this is, as I say, Global Studies 250, and we're going to be examining in this course the effects of globalization over the course of many centuries. But really the primary focus of this class is going to be kind of on the present, say the last 50 years or so of human development, and all the institutions and organizations that have come about, that human societies have developed, and the problems that have occurred, and some of the solutions on how we will deal with the very large questions about an interconnected world. So that's sort of the scope of this course, and what we're going to be looking at in the most general sense. But I'd like to just introduce myself a little bit for those of you who don't follow my YouTube channel and know me well. I'm David A. Hill, and I am a PhD professor at. I teach at several universities, but I earned many degrees from Missouri State University in history, classics, and religious studies. I studied British history. I have a master's degree in that. I also have an MA in European history from the University of Kansas. I'm currently working on a degree in theology from Duke Divinity School, and I have a PhD in medieval history. And that's why I'm smart and qualified to teach you. So a little more just about me, myself. I am by training a historian, really specifically. I have done archaeology in the Middle East. I own a small business. I enjoy many things in the world. I like fine wine and art. I like to travel. I have lived in the Kansas City, Missouri area most of my life. I'm an avid Chiefs and Royals fan, and I was that and have been that all my life, and I was that before it was really cool to be such things. And I'm very passionate about history, and I'm excited that I get to teach in the format of globalization and global studies, because this is an interdisciplinary approach to sort of the study of the world, and that we can kind of move out of just sort of examining history and using historical methodology, and instead we can really look at the world through a variety of perspectives and through a variety of disciplines, and it gives us great latitude in how we approach subjects that we would not normally examine in just history alone. So while I am a historian, and there will be many things that we will look at the evolution and origins of through a historical lens, this will be of course, my bias is that I am trained as a historian. I'm not a sociologist or a political scientist, an economist, or something of that nature. Though I do read and dabble in these disciplines, I am not. My doctorate is not in that area. But why do a global studies major? Why study global studies rather than some other discipline? So I think global studies gives you something. It gives you a broad and expansive knowledge of the world. It's going to expand your personal point of view on things. When you really begin to look at the perspectives of other people and how they do things in the world, how they approach problems, how they have responded to disasters, or how they see the world. It just really gives you a great and expansive way of looking at the world. And as you study language and culture, you come to have a more of appreciation for your fellow human beings in this world. What does the global studies major specifically do for you? Well, it can give you an opportunity to develop this worldwide international knowledge, and you can there are careers that this major would work very well with, such as if you wanted to go into an NGO in some other country, if you wish to work for AmeriCorps and teach foreign languages to people. I know a few people that have done that. Or if you wanted to go into sort of a government job, some kind of a career within government or the State Department, things like that. Having a deep understanding and a very broad understanding of the world and specializing in particular regions allows you to have a flexibility to work in a variety of disciplines, as well as finding a career path that would allow you to take these interests and skill sets and do something really great with it that you will enjoy. Might not make you very rich, but nevertheless, it's something definitely worth considering and doing. And this, I would like to say that if you are concerned with money and economics and becoming at least somewhat rich to the point where you can eat and have a home, which I would encourage everyone to be. I think that this major in global studies really pairs well with more traditional majors. Say if you want to take a business degree, it can never ever hurt you to have a deeper understanding of some of the global cultures and people that you may be working with in a large corporation or on an international basis. Even being a flight attendant or something of that nature, it will help you to understand the cultures and people that you are working with. It can never hurt you, and it pairs well with other more traditional majors that will earn you more money. So what can you expect to learn in this course? Well, we really want to dig in deeply on how the world functions, how the world is connected, and how these institutions that human societies have created have developed, how their origins, why they were created, where they were created, who created them, and how they function, how they have developed, how they have changed. And we simply are going to look at this kind of interweb of human connectivity, but we also want to look at human societies and the organizations, how they have organized themselves, and how they have dealt with various crises and problems that have come up over the course of human history. And we will be, of course, looking at some history. Why? Because I'm a historian. But it's because I think it's important to understand this context of globalization, because globalization comes out of ancient times and it goes all the way to the present. To think that globalization is a modern thing is probably a little bit inaccurate, though we might be more interconnected in the present. People from the Middle Ages as well as in ancient times also had webs of interconnectivity in ways that we might not imagine. So we're going to be going over that as well. But as I say, our true focus of this course will, of course, be more on the present. So what is globalization? I've invoked this word several times, and we'll really get into this in the next lecture. But I wanted to give you a very erudite and complicated definition of globalization that's provided by Manfred Steger, who's a professor of global studies at the Melbourne Institute of Technology. And it goes something like this. It says, globalization refers to a multidimensional set of social processes that create, multiply, stretch, and intensify worldwide social interdependencies and exchanges, while at the same time fostering in people a growing awareness of deepening connections between the local and the distant. Wow, what a handful there. So what does that mean? Well, it means people at a local and a regional and a national and an international level come together and work together. And they develop things together, basically. Okay, it really is a little more than that. But we're going to get into that really in the next lecture, as I say. But I want you to think about this definition, and I want you to consider it. I want you to consider what you believe globalization to be. I want you to consider whether you think globalization is a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, whether this sort of one world idea that we're all interconnected, we're all together, or whether the nation state model, whether the local culture is more important than having this sort of globalistic vision of the world. Something to think about and something that we will consider. I won't promise you that I have a silver bullet, ironclad answer to tell you what is right and what is wrong. That's not really the point of this class. Is I want to rather suggest to you these are some approaches and these are some ideas, and I want you to kind of make up your mind for yourself. So we will, over the next few weeks, we will kind of chart the development of political theory, of political ideology. We will look at Marxism, how it has affected the world. We'll look at capitalism, socialism, all these isms, these fancy words that we throw around but are little understood. And we're going to look at those. We're going to explore them, and we're going to explore where they came from, why they came when they did, and then their manifestations. Why is Karl Marx a thinker of the mid 19th century? Why is he still invoked today, and he is either a hero or the devil himself? We want to examine these and look at these ideas. We also are going to explore the development of international institutions and their origins, such as we will really get into the United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and we want to look at these as sort of how the international community has come to work with each other, how nation states have interacted through these institutions, why these institutions are necessary. Are they necessary? And the role of kind of central banking and central management of societies on a national, regional, and of course at sort of the macro international level as well. Like we're going to specifically, we will look at the Great Recession of 2008, and we'll see how the world community developed or responded to this, and then developed new institutions and new thinking after that. We will of course, be exploring economics because I think globalism, really at its heart, is about economics. And we want to look at the sort of post-industrial, we'll look at the Industrial Revolution and how that transformation of human society created the kind of the modern world and everything that how we think, how we behave when we work, the hours we work, how that industrialized process came to dominate all human society, and how the interconnectivity of business and industry fostered trade, as well as the effects that this industry, that this business, and this globalized imperialism that we saw during the 19th, the 20th, and continue to see in the 21st century, and how this has affected human societies as well as affected the natural world. So we also want to debate within this class. This is a huge part of this class is debate. We are going to look at big philosophical questions regarding human rights and law. We're going to examine world poverty. We're going to examine local poverty, urban poverty, rural poverty. And we want to see how this has been a part of the modern world. How has globalization factored into this question of poverty? We're going to really take a look at globalized agriculture and how big ag has transformed how we live, how we eat, what we look like, what we wear, and just kind of how this process of going from something so simple as farming has changed so radically in a couple hundred years. That we go from simple people planting something in the ground to massive feedlots in the western United States that have 100,000 head of cattle. And then, of course, how does this big ag how does agriculture, modern agriculture, how does that change our climate? How does that factor into environmentalism? How should we respond to not only to big ag but to other industrial processes and how that they have changed our environment and how we should manage these things. What should we do? Should we do anything? Should we let the market sort it out? Should we regulate? These are the kind of big questions that I want to ask in this class, and I want you to be thinking about. And finally, I think the ultimate goal of this course, that if after you leave this you have not been inspired to create positive change in both your local and global community, I feel like I probably haven't done my job. So I want to see how I can encourage you to engage with the global community, to see yourself as an individual who has the right to think and to assert your points of view, but is also respectful of other people's ways of thinking and how they view the world. And we want to ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a good and virtuous citizen of a globalized world? And why being a global citizen really matters in our modern day and age. So, these are the goals of this course, and I hope that you will come to enjoy it, to appreciate it, and to really have a good time digging into the material of this course. And it's something this is not something that we can probably say give definitive answers to. That this is something that we've got to really think about, and we can suggest a lot of things and develop these ideas as time goes along within this course. So I would just encourage you to put on your thinking caps for this semester, and to work through this material with an open mind. And I would encourage you to develop as a thinker, as a student, and as a global citizen. So thanks for watching, and I will either see you in class or I will see you on my next video. So take care and stay healthy, wealthy, and wise until next time.